Hi, this is Pete Buchanan coming to you live from our Plain Simple Golf Studios, and today we're going to talk about Tiger Woods' swing. This is off the first tee in the first round of the WGC Championship at Doral. And just to give you an idea of some of the things that's going on and why we think he's having so much trouble, why the injuries are piling up, and why he's been struggling so much to drive the golf ball. He's got a pretty decent setup here. I think for the stability he needs in his swing, I would like to see his stance a little bit wider, well outside the shoulder, so he can have that stable lower half. But as you start to look at the swing and look at the takeaway, I'm going to measure first of all the shaft angle, and I know the camera's not straight in front of him, but the shaft angle here looks like it's about at 87 degrees as he's setting up to it. We're going to watch the swing as it moves away, and the first thing you can see, he's got a pretty good turn as he starts away from it as far as the shoulder movement, but the right one's quite a bit above the left, so it's, to me, is more of a tilt. And I say it's a tilt because you can see the club face is closed. Club face is looking forward and towards the ground. It's not square, so he's got it closed to the true swing. And so right away, that club face for me would be too shut, and that's something you're going to have to fight on the way down. As he continues on and gets to another spot in the swing, you can see now the club face is, the toe is tipped toward us. It's even closed even more. Right now, the bottom edge of the club should be more parallel to the target line, but it's not. It's shooting way off to the right of it. So it's a very closed club face, and then you can see when he gets to the top of the swing, it's even more. The face is looking straight up toward the sky. And I've always said about a closed club face is a lot like your front door at your house. Once you close the door, you have two options. You can keep it closed or open it. So with a golf swing, once you have the club face closed in the backswing, you're either going to keep it closed or open it. Now, if you keep it closed, it's going to hook, and if you open it, it's going to slice. But somewhere between that closed and open is square. So you have to time the movement to get that club face to go from its closed position to square by opening it up as you're making the downswing. To me, it would be easier just to keep it square at the top, so that when you swing it down, you don't have to worry about it. It's always square. I would always want to keep the club face square to wherever my arms are moving. That way, no matter where my arms go, the club face is always square. Much easier to do. This is going to require a lot of timing. Thank goodness Tiger's pretty talented, so he's got the chance and the ability to be able to do it, but he's making things very difficult for himself by putting the club in this position. Now, as it begins to come down, you'll see the first move here, there's quite a bit of drop in what his head does, and that first thing he does is he pushes that hip forward and drops the head to try to regain the balance. And so he's sliding into that lower half position first, and that head drops down. And then as he continues down even more, you can see now that golf club is starting to open up, because he's going to have to tug on it and keep that right arm tucked underneath him and begin to push the left shoulder up and the right shoulder down to try to create loft on this golf club, because he had it so shut. So he goes into it. You're going to see that even more evident here as the shoulders begin to work up in the air. And these shoulders working up in the air at this position are doing so to try to create some effective loft. I mean, here's his shoulder position here at 40 degrees, and if we go back to his original setup, you can see that if we do the tips of the shoulders again, I mean, you're looking at about 21. So there's about 19 degrees of upward motion with the shoulders, desperately trying to loft that club in the air. And I'll show you why that is in just a moment. If we take those two out of there, now you're going to see why. When he starts to come down and gets that club set to impact, now you can see the pressure that he's putting on here. Now with those shoulders working underneath, he's putting a lot of pressure on that lower spine. And, over time, it's going to give. And that's why he's having so many back problems right now. You just can't put that back under that tremendous pressure over and over again and make that golf club behave like that. And now the next thing I wanted to show you here is the impact position. I mean, you can see just how far forward his arms and body are. The right shoulder down, the left one coming up. He's pushed up off his right toe, coming up on the side of his foot. All that pressure on that left knee and how straight it is. But look at the golf club now where it is. If we just take a moment to look at the angle it's in now, it was 87. Now it's 79. So he's basically taken the golf club here and pushed it forward. I'm going to take that one out of there, so we'll go back here. Well, he was 87 at the setup, and now if we put this other one in here, 79 there. You take 8 degrees off, so he's de-lofted the golf club by 8 degrees. Now I'm assuming there's probably about that much loft on it. So if you take that shoulder position I was telling you, where he was moving his shoulders up 19 and he's taking 8 off the club, well, 19 minus 8, that's about an 11-degree driver. Well, that's kind of hard to do, to time all that stuff. And who can time a ball hitting it in the fairway with putting yourself in this position, pushed up off your toes, the right shoulder under the left, the club forward and de-lofted. I mean, that's a difficult place to put yourself, even with as talented as Tiger is, to try to control a golf ball. And it's just very, very difficult to make it happen. That's why you see him hitting, 50 or under % of fairways hit. It's just too hard to do. And that club coming in so de-lofted, I mean, it's a wonder. I mean, he's got about 1 degree or 0 degrees of loft on this thing when he's coming in. He's trying to create the loft with his shoulders instead of just returning it to where it came from. So to me, this is a difficult position to put yourself in. And then as the club continues on, you'll see as it goes past the ball here, we'll let this run a little bit at a frame at a time and move. You're going to see that it pushes past the ball, and you can just see how closed and turned over that club is. And relative to his true forearm position from where it was, you can just see here, I'm going to back this up, you can just see how close the golf club is relative to his original forearm position. And that's what's making it so difficult for him to drive it. You can get those crossover hooks. You can just see how the toes turned in. And you cross one over to the left and you block one to the right. That's why you just have a hard time hitting fairways and have a hard time keeping your back healthy, because of how pinched you're pushing that lower lumbar spine as you're trying to swing the golf club. And then as it continues on, you'll see him finish up and around here and come up and out of it. But there's just so much of a drop of the posture and everything that's going on. Very difficult to make this work. He needs a golf swing that's rooted in getting the body to move more in balance and getting the arms and the club to swing together. Take that big hinge out of that left wrist and just let the arms and the shaft move so the club stays square to the forearms all the time. That's going to be a better place to put him into and to make this continue to work. So again, it's a golf swing that needs to be one that's rooted in allowing a lot of different things to happen. We'll do some comparisons going forward, but this golf swing is just one that it takes a guy with a tremendous amount of talent to be able to make it work, and it's even testing Tiger's patience and talent, I would imagine, with how he's playing. So I'd love to see him in something more neutral to make it easier on him, easier on his back, shoulders, knees, elbows, and something more formidable to play. And we'll come back with another recap and put this against one that I think would make more sense for him and give you an idea what that is. Again, Pete Buchanan from Plain Simple Golf, and remember, keep it simple.